Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the upcoming episode of WWE SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton will defend the WWE Women's Championship against Bayley. While the former is a considerable threat to Stratton, there is a chance SmackDown GM Nick Aldis could put Stratton in an even more concerning situation on Friday. The match between Stratton and Bayley could end in a disqualification due to involvement from the ladies who fought to become the No. 1 contender last week. This disqualification could then lead to Aldis booking Stratton to defend her title in a fatal 4- or 5-way match at the Royal Rumble. A situation like that would be terrible for Tiffany Stratton, because not only does she lack experience, but also because the odds will be terribly stacked against her. For starters, Stratton does not have a single friend she can rely on if she has to defend the WWE Women's Championship in a match like that. Hence, since every woman will fight for herself and to win the title, the chances of Stratton retaining would be very slim. While the above-mentioned angle is speculative, it will be interesting to see how the young champion will deal if put in a concerning situation like this. If Tiffany Stratton is able to retain the WWE Women's Championship on Friday against Bayley, all eyes will be on her potentially defending the title at Royal Rumble. If such a situation does arise, ex-WWE writer Vince Russo named who could be Stratton's opponent at the upcoming PLE during an episode of Wrestling's Writing with Russo. The veteran wrestling figure mentioned a match between Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax could be possible at the 2025 Royal Rumble. Explaining the reason behind the same, Russo said a match between Stratton and Jax would be interesting to watch, given the dynamics between them. While both women were best friends at one time, Stratton betrayed Jax and cashed in her Money in the Bank contract to become the WWE Women's Champion. Introduction. The landscape of WWE SmackDown has always been one of high drama and unpredictable moments. The Blue brand is known for its talented roster, compelling storylines, and unforgettable rivalries. Among the standout names on SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton had quickly risen to prominence, showcasing her incredible athleticism, charm, and undeniable charisma. She had become one of the most talked-about superstars, earning her place in WWE's spotlight. However, when Nick Aldis, recently appointed as the SmackDown general manager, made his debut, fans quickly realized that the brand was about to undergo a significant shift. Aldis, a seasoned and respected wrestler-turned-authority figure, was not only bringing a fresh perspective to SmackDown, but also a willingness to challenge the status quo. He quickly garnered attention for his bold decisions and unpredictable actions. What no one anticipated, however, was the impact Aldis would have on Tiffany Stratton, placing her in a situation that would test her resilience and raise more questions than answers. This article will explore the potential chances, creative decisions, and storyline outcomes of Aldis' surprising move to put Stratton in a concerning situation on SmackDown. 1. Aldis' debut as SmackDown general manager. Nick Aldis' arrival on SmackDown was highly anticipated, and his first night in power sent shockwaves through the WWE universe. As general manager, Aldis made his intentions clear. He wasn't here to just manage, he was here to make a statement. His first major decision was to introduce a new structure to SmackDown, focusing on high-stakes matches, intense rivalries, and ensuring that every superstar earned their spot in the spotlight. While many fans were initially excited by the prospect of Aldis bringing his experience into the role, they also wondered how his leadership would affect the current roster. Would he be an ally to the superstars, or would he stir the pot and create chaos? The first clear answer came when he made a surprise announcement regarding Tiffany Stratton. Stratton had been riding a wave of success, winning matches and quickly becoming a fan favorite. However, Aldis was not one to shy away from making bold decisions that would shake up the status quo. His announcement took everyone by surprise. 2. Tiffanys Stratton's sudden setback. On the very first episode of SmackDown following Aldis' appointment, Tiffany Stratton was set to face off against one of the brand's top superstars in a highly anticipated match. Fans were excited to see Stratton continue her upward trajectory, but Aldis had other plans. As the match began, Aldis' music hit, and he made his way to the ring. Interrupting the bout, he stood at the top of the ramp, microphone in hand, and spoke directly to the crowd. "Tonight, Tiffany, you'll not only have to prove yourself in the ring, but you'll also have to prove that you belong on SmackDown under my leadership." The crowd murmured in confusion as Aldis then made a stunning announcement. "Tiffany, your match tonight is no longer just a regular match, it's a gauntlet match. If you win, you get to keep your spot on SmackDown, but if you lose, I will personally demote you to NXT. Do you accept the challenge?" The shock was palpable. Tiffany Stratton, who had been climbing the ranks on SmackDown, suddenly found herself in a high-stakes situation where her very place on the brand was at risk. The gauntlet match added another layer of pressure, as it meant she would have to face multiple opponents in a single night, each more dangerous than the last. Stratton, always confident, accepted the challenge without hesitation. But deep down, even she couldn't ignore the weight of the situation that had just been thrust upon her. She had to win, or risk her career taking a massive step backward. 3. The Gauntlet Match, Tiffany Stratton's Test of Will. The Gauntlet match itself was a showcase of Tiffany Stratton's skills and determination. Aldis had stacked the odds against her by selecting a series of tough competitors, each with their own unique styles and strengths. First up was a grizzled veteran, someone who could outlast Stratton if the match dragged on for too long. The veteran's experience and ring awareness put Tiffany on the defensive early, but she fought back with an intensity that made the audience take notice. The match was a roller coaster of near falls, submission attempts, and high-risk moves. Tiffany's resilience was on full display, but the fatigue began to take its toll. After surviving the veteran, she was immediately confronted by a hard-hitting powerhouse, someone who would test her in ways she had never been tested before. The powerhouse's strength and aggression were overwhelming, but Stratton managed to outmaneuver her with a combination of speed and technical ability. After taking down the powerhouse, Tiffany found herself facing her toughest challenge yet, a high flyer with an aerial assault that kept her off balance. Stratton was forced to dig deep, relying on her agility and ring awareness to counter the high flyer's moves. It was clear that Aldis' gauntlet match wasn't just a test of physical ability, but of mental fortitude. Tiffany had to prove she could handle the mental strain of an unpredictable and unrelenting series of opponents. By the time she had defeated the high flyer, Stratton was visibly exhausted. Her body was battered, and her spirit was beginning to waver. Aldis, watching from the ramp, showed no signs of mercy. He had set the stage for her downfall, and it was clear that he was enjoying watching her struggle. Tiffany had already survived 3 incredibly difficult opponents, but she still had one more obstacle to overcome: a former SmackDown Women's Champion who had been itching for a shot at glory. The final opponent was a formidable one, someone with a reputation for exploiting every weakness in her opponents. The champion took full advantage of Stratton's fatigue, delivering a brutal assault that left Tiffany on the ropes. The match reached its crescendo when Stratton, after taking a series of punishing blows, finally mounted a comeback. Her resilience shone through, as she fought back with everything she had left. In an incredible sequence of moves, Stratton hit her signature finisher and pinned the former champion to win the match. The crowd erupted in cheers as Tiffany, bloodied and battered, stood victorious in the ring. But the celebration was short-lived. Nick Aldis, still standing on the ramp, calmly nodded to her. "Well done, Tiffany," Aldis said with a smirk. "But remember this, every win is just one step closer to the next challenge. Don't get too comfortable. You've passed this test, but the next one might be even harder." 4. The Fallout, Tiffany's reaction and the impact on SmackDown. The fallout from Tiffany Stratton's gauntlet match victory was felt across SmackDown. On one hand, she had proven herself under intense pressure, defeating 4 of the brand's toughest competitors in one night. On the other hand, Aldis' cryptic words left fans wondering what was next for her. Was he setting her up for even more difficult challenges? Was she truly safe on SmackDown, or was Aldis simply biding his time before pulling the rug out from under her again? Stratton's victory didn't go unnoticed by the other superstars on SmackDown either. Some admired her tenacity, while others saw her as a threat to their own ambitions. The tension in the locker room began to rise, with whispers about Aldis' intentions and how he might be using Stratton as a pawn in a larger game. For Stratton, the victory was bittersweet. She had earned her spot, but she knew that Aldis was far from finished with her. The challenge had only just begun. As she looked ahead, she realized that her place on SmackDown was far from secure. Aldis had tested her, but now she would need to prove that she could thrive under his rule. The road ahead would be filled with even greater obstacles, and the only thing certain was that Nick Aldis would be watching her every move. 5. The future. Tensions rising and new alliances. The dynamic between Tiffany Stratton and Nick Aldis would continue to evolve in the weeks that followed. Aldis' role as general manager would be tested as more and more superstars began to question his methods and authority. Some, like Stratton, would seek to prove themselves under his regime, while others might try to undermine him at every turn. Tiffany, having survived the Gauntlet match, would undoubtedly be seen as a target by those who resented her rise to prominence. New alliances would form as superstars looked to either align with Aldis for personal gain or rebel against his rule. Stratton, however, would find herself walking a fine line, trying to maintain her position at the top of the SmackDown women's division while simultaneously navigating Aldis' unpredictable leadership. In the end, the story of Tiffany Stratton's journey under Nick Aldis' reign as general manager would be one of triumph, tribulation, and perhaps even betrayal. Aldis' ability to put Stratton in increasingly concerning situations would keep fans on the edge of their seats, wondering what would happen next. One thing was for sure, on SmackDown, nothing was ever certain, and Nick Aldis' influence would be felt for a long time to come. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.